What is up, everyone? I am MTG Peddler, and today we are going to talk about Starfield. If you are anything like me, you are anxiously awaiting news as to when Starfield is going to be released. But until we get official word from Bethesda, I thought it might be fun to break down the chances of each upcoming month to be the month that we see Starfield's release date based off of the information we know and with as little speculation as possible. So let's jump right into this and let's talk about February. Now, as much as I would love to be playing Starfield at the end of this month, let's just take a second and try to be a little realistic. At the time that I am recording this, it is February 5th, and we don't even have a date for Starfield's showcase event. We would have to have the event get announced, get the release date, and have the game drop all within a window of 23 days. Now, I'm sorry to bust your bubble. That is not going to happen. So I am going to give Starfield less than a 1% chance of a February release. But I think things are looking a little bit more positive as we move on to March. Now, I have seen a ton of videos that have said March is too soon, there's just no way, but I'm actually way more bullish on a March release than most, and here is why. And then this is going to be a little bit of speculation on my part, so just bear with me and just humor me for a little bit, all right? Now, I could see Bethesda announcing the Starfield event during the Super Bowl. It's a huge audience. The Super Bowl has averaged 100 million viewers over the past 20 years, and the Super Bowl is February 12th. Now, let's say that the date for the Starfield event is 2 weeks after that, so that would make it somewhere at the end of February, with Friday the 24th being the last Friday in February. Seems like a good date. And then they can easily announce a release date that is 1 month away, which would take us to the last week of March, which is March 23rd through the 30th, somewhere in that window. Now, that would be 6 weeks from announcement of the release date to release, which is plenty of time for an aggressive marketing blitz. And as Todd Howard has made clear, he wants the time of the release date being announced to the actual release being as short as possible. So this would be only 6 weeks, and it's also 6 weeks before Redfall is released. So they're not really stepping on Redfall's toes either, giving it that 6-week window. So I am quite bullish on March. I don't know if it will happen for a fact, but I'm giving it about a 20% chance of a March release. So now we move into April, and this is where things start getting a little tricky. With Redfall's release that we know is coming on May 2nd quickly approaching, it's really hard to imagine Bethesda setting Starfield's release date so close to Redfall where it could possibly cannibalize some of Redfall's sales. I could see them maybe trying to sneak it in very, very early April, like maybe the first week, but I just don't see that happening. And this same thought process carries over into May as well. With, again, Redfall's release date on May 2nd, it seems unlikely we would see Starfield immediately after release, because again, it's going to cannibalize sales from Redfall. So it just seems so unlikely we're going to see it in April or May. I'm just going to combine the 2 months and say we have probably a 10% chance of seeing it in either April or May, which then brings us to June. Now, of all the months we've talked about, June probably has the most going for it. First off, it's the last month of the first half of 2023, which is the current release window that Bethesda has been discussing ever since the initial delay was announced, which means that this is the maximum amount of time from the initial November 11th, 2022 release date, 7 months, in fact, in total, to put that final polish on the game, which should be plenty of time, depending on obviously the scope of the game, but it's the maximum amount of time that Bethesda has allowed themselves with that 2023 first half window. Now, second, June would give Redfall plenty of time to maximize its sales before Starfield's release. And depending on when in June Starfield were to come out, it would be 4 to 8 weeks roughly after Redfall, which I feel would be a very comfortable buffer for Bethesda, that they feel like they're not going to be stealing sales from Redfall for Starfield. And finally, the only other major title being released during June that I'm aware of, I could be wrong, but is Diablo 4, which is slated to be released in early June. So June kind of has this feeling like it's pretty wide open for a major release to come in and just absolutely crush it. Now, taking all of that into an account, I'm going to give Starfield a 50% chance that it's going to drop in the month of June. Now, I am not going to venture any further out into the future because that would be a delay of the first half of the 2023 calendar year for Starfield. And obviously, a delay is always a possibility. I don't think it's likely. I would say there's probably a 10% chance that we will see Starfield be pushed back later in the year. But I don't really, honestly, feel like going over all the, because once we start going past the first half of 2023, there's all these other variables, and it would be a whole other video in and of itself just to talk about what would happen during a second delay. Again, I don't believe it's going to happen, but I'm just not going to bother covering that in this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, and until next time, everyone, please take it easy.